Other day, yeah, obviously down here in Florida. So we're back at the shop. We got the 180 back here again. We're going to do a couple of things today, or try to do a couple of things. Number one is we're going to start, not finish, the battery relocation kit for the battery. We're going to put it in the trunk. Obviously, I don't know where else you would want to put it, but we're going to put it in the trunk on the JDM passenger side in the corner and try to get that thing going. The reason why we're going to do this is one, to clean up the engine bay because I don't want this in the engine bay anymore, and then two, just because it doesn't really fit in here, and if I put it in the trunk, I can use a bigger battery. The other thing that we're going to do today, I'm going to do this when Roberto gets back tonight. Hopefully he'll want to help me with this thing. We have right here from Z1 Motorsports the caliper rebuild kits, so we can finally put the calipers back together. Right here, I believe this one is the rears. Yeah, rear calipers, and then we have the front ones right there. So we have a lot of things to put together and a lot of hardware to clean up because I don't want it looking like junk. So we got the hardware and all the pistons and everything still right here. So I have to take all this stuff out, clean it up, make sure it looks good, and then put it back into the calipers and get the calipers ready to go on. Tomorrow I'll have the guy next door, Peter, machine my rotors for me, and then probably at the end of the week, I'll hit up blast coating and see if they're going to be done with the wheels. Because when they're done with the wheels, then I'll go ahead and drop my valve cover off and try to get that powder coated real quick too, so that I can have a fully clean looking engine bay. Obviously not fully clean because I still don't have my intake manifold, but those are the few things that we're going to try to get done today, and go ahead and brake. Okay guys, so we have this battery here. This one is actually out of the G37. This is the size battery that I would like to run in this car. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come back here to the trunk, and I want the battery to sit in this general location right here on this little shelf in the corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of metal that will hold it down on an angle, which is this stuff over here. Right here. We're going to use this, and we're going to make a piece that goes somewhat like this. So this is going to hold it like that, and we're going to drill a hole right here, and we're going to drill a hole on the other side so that two anchor bolts can go through the sides and hold this thing into place. Generally close to the sides so that it doesn't move around and stuff like that, but that's how we're going to do this thing. And I forgot how Carlos does the rest of it, but I think like I said, today we're just gonna start this thing. We're not gonna actually finish it. So what I might do is I might do that, and then I might go to AutoZone again. Actually, oh no, I don't need to go to AutoZone. They're actually right here. One, and I just have to find the other one, and I can make the ground strap for it in the trunk so that we can have the grounding all set. And this is like a good size wire right there, so that's what we'll use. And yes, let's go ahead and start this thing out. After of what we're going to be what it's going to be looking like. So very carefully, so I don't shock myself. It's going to sit on an angle like that, on like a 45, with the poles going down on both sides. And I actually need to get longer ones because they don't reach all the way past the battery, and the battery needs to be bolted down into the actual car. So they're going to need to go to like about here. So I have to find longer ones. But other than that, I have just made that little bracket. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into the trunk here and start figuring out where I can put this nice big ground strap to. And then at that point, at the grounding strap, I think I'm just going to stop for a little bit because I want Carlos to come in here and give it a nice touch to it, because Carlos does really good wiring. So I have a circuit breaker in here for the power side, so that what we can do is, if something were to happen, this is a 150 amp circuit breaker. So what's going to happen is if there's more than 150 amps through this thing, it's going to pop the circuit breaker, and then you just go back through and you press this, and it'll reset it. So this has to be mounted somewhere nicely. We probably mount this like on the wall right here, and then we can have the power and everything running to that, and then we can have everything else going to there. Plus the other thing that I would love to put in here would be like a little 10 subwoofer in here, so that it would give it a little bit more kick when I'm listening to music. But other than that, it's not that bad. I need to get speakers for all the way around too, so that's going to be later down the road. But for right now, I just want to get this battery relocation kit into the car. So let's go ahead and get this ground on in here. So over here on the trunk, we have, I need a flashlight first, but we have most of the relocation done. I want to say we're about like 3/4. Got a little bit more to go. So we have the circuit breaker all set up, mounted in here. We have the actual mounting for the battery halfway done. The ground is all set up. So basically all I have to do is I have to get the power wire from the front to the back, and I have to get the rest of the mounting bracket for the actual battery so that it will bolt to the back. But we're gonna stop here. I told you guys that we're only gonna do half of this today. And now we're gonna go over here and we're gonna start putting these things together. So we have the seal kits. These are for the rear. These ones are for the front. So we're gonna go ahead and start cleaning up our stuff right here a little bit and then putting them all back together. Roberto said you actually use brake fluid to get the pistons to go back in. So we're going to do that. We're actually have Roberto do the first one, and then after that, I'm gonna try to do this and see how well it goes. So guys, here we go.
One done.
This one is done. So now Roberto's going to put this one in.
Step one, you gotta get, this is the actual O-ring that seals on the piston. So there's a little groove inside of the caliper. That O-ring goes in there. You have to be very careful when you put it in that you don't fold it. If it folds, then you actually are gonna immediately have a caliper leak. And when it comes to brakes, I really recommend that no one takes any shortcuts because brakes are kind of important. These do not go on super easy. You have to kind of find their home. And this one actually folded on me. You can see there, I don't know if you can see in the video, how this edge is sticking out and this part's flat. So if I were to try to send the cylinder like that, it would leak.
Yeah.
And then you'd have a problem. So what we're gonna do to unfold it is, we're just gonna take a pick with a little bit of anything that's gonna be inside. You have to use brake fluid as a lubricant. If you try to use something else as a lubricant, you're gonna end up contaminating the what's it called? The actual brake system. So we're just gonna massage this sucker in place. Get rid of that fold. And there we go. So now we have a perfect O-ring. No folds. It's perfect 360 degrees around. This is the actual piston. Marcus did a good job storing it. These things, if they get scratched, like if you were to just throw them all together in one thing and they clank around, one little scratch, it leaks. So this is definitely something that you always want to take this kind of care with and wrap it up real good and make sure that it's not going to get all messed up. So this piston, you can actually tell that this thing was actually kind of like someone didn't change the brakes for a long time because the seal is like all the way back here. That means that this much of the piston was out in the open, getting all corroded and shit, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you don't change your brakes in time. These things just hang out in the open air. And if the dust boot's ripped or if it's old, it's gonna get messed up. This one,
Is there any way you can clean that?
They're cheaper to just replace.
Okay.
Yeah, typically you would just replace it. But this is good though. I can see that the inside line is still good. And everything past the line is still good. So this will only have a problem if you were to ever take it past that line, which I assume you're never going to. So
no, the brakes on this car will probably last for a very long time because it's not going to be driven that much.
So you're okay, yeah. But that's good. Polished up nice. So next step is, again, being very careful. Lube the O-ring. Only lube it with
brake fluid. Lube the piston.
And I'm gonna do this without the shield on, just for the sake of showing you how it's done. This thing goes on like nothing. It's just a little bit of pressure down.
If you're pushing it too
If you're
hard, you're
pushing it,
doing something
you're
wrong.
doing something wrong, yeah.
The seal folded, you're gonna cut your seal or something.
Correct. So that's that. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually get the dust shield on. I just put a little lube on the edge here.
Anything above the inside, you can use.
Whatever you want, because it's never gonna make contact. Once the seal's in place and the piston's in there, anything on the outside of the seal will never matter. So you could put grease or anything here. A lot of these rebuild kits will actually come with grease to make this easier. Because what you're trying to do here is you're trying to stretch this over. And then when you stretch it over, you kind of want to spin it.
So that it moves itself?
Right. So now that's there. We're gonna push it all the way down. And then now we're gonna, in this particular setup, you're just going to bring the lip around. Where's that pick? There it is. And almost there. Bam. So you know it's on because it's gonna be flat around the whole 360 degrees of it. And then when that's in place, you take your ring. This is the hardest part, and I hate it, and I've always had these stupid things hit me in the face before, so. But it was mostly my fault for not being patient.
That one went on very
That one went on
smoothly.
really nice.
So now,
Fuck, bro. And you're
that's
done.
how you do it.
Now,
The last thing is the little
match-
seals.
to match these up. So you got to be careful. So the Z32 and like R32 brake calipers only have one bleed point.
Yeah. On the bottom.
Down on the bottom, and then the face does not actually matter how you put it on. But most modern brakes, Brembo brakes and stuff like that, have 2 bleed points. And the left and right caliper will have the bleed points on the opposite side. So if you're doing a Brembo, there's a chance that you could actually put this on and you have one bleed port on the bottom, one bleed port on the top. If you try to put it in your car, the car never bleed.
Yeah.
Because there's always gonna be air stuck on the top on one side. With these, that's not how that works. You need to make sure that you saved the O-rings, because the kits never come with O-rings. This kit didn't come with the O-rings, did it?
Those are the new ones.
Oh shit. Oh, good for you, Z1. Look at that. These things almost never come with new O-rings. Put O-rings on there. You can just lube them up a little bit with brake fluid.
And then you don't have to like actually put the bolts in because I want to clean them a little bit more.
Okay, well, either way, just for the sake of showing it.
Put that on there.
Make sure this goes on nice and flat. Okay, again, with any O-ring, make sure it's flat, make sure it's even. If you see any waviness or any deformation in it, it's not gonna seal. And then at this point, you would literally just mate these together,
And put your bolts through.
put your bolts through, and then torque them to whatever they're supposed to be torqued to.
Okay.
That's it, and that's how you rebuild it. For the fronts, is the same. You just have an extra 2 calipers or 2 pistons to do. Yeah.
So guys, now I'm going to do the rest of the other 3 and show you guys the finished product. So guys, here we go. The calipers are all put back together, ready to go in. I have to just get new pads and new rotors for these. So guys, that's about it though for this video. If you guys liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, I guess. And yeah. We're gonna do lots more around here. We cleaned up the shop a little bit more today. We got another table over here, and Rob's motor's coming out awesome. We put the V-cam in, so yes, that's about it. I'll see you guys later.